Hi guys, Forgotten Wolf here, and this is What If Catelyn Stark Kept Tyrion Lannister Prisoner back in Season 1. Before we begin, please like, share, and subscribe, and let's begin! Back in Season 1, Catelyn Stark took Tyrion prisoner and intended to have him be served as justice for pushing Bran out of the tower and murdering Jon Arryn, which both of those wasn't him. So, but so I'm gonna say when Catelyn finds out that Lysa isn't gonna support the North in the War of the Five Kings, Catelyn just leaves the Vale with Tyrion rather than staying around there for a little longer and keeps Tyrion as her prisoner. This isn't important at the time, but when it does become important is when Robb captures Jaime Lannister. Robb Stark will have both of Tywin's sons as prisoners, and the Lannisters in return will have both Stark girls, which means they could just swap the sons and daughters, but that's not going to happen. This means that at the end of the season, Tywin will probably send Kevin Lannister to serve as Hand of the King in his place, but it does make Tywin look extremely weak that he can't get that he allowed both his sons to be taken hostage. There is a chance that Robb Stark executes Tyrion for pushing Bran out of the tower, but I don't think he will, since he didn't execute Jaime, who actually confessed. Moving on to Season 2 or 299 AC, in Year 2 of the War of the Five Kings, one thing that becomes very clear, Myrcella won't be sent to Dorne without Tyrion and King's Landing. Tywin will also be not that strong with both his sons hostage, and there's a chance that the Tyrells don't join the Lannisters, but they probably will. At the time. But I doubt this will all make a difference, as in the Battle of Blackwater Bay, without Tyrion there, the city will 100% fall to Stannis, meaning Stannis will execute Joffrey, Tommen, Myrcella, who won't be in Dorne, Cersei Lannister, and Kevin Lannister. And this will mean that the Tyrells pull out of the War of the Five Kings. Another major thing is that Catelyn won't release Jaime. She will instead release a Tyrion, since Catelyn isn't that stupid and isn't. If she has both Lannisters prisoner, she's obviously gonna send Tyrion. This means that although Robb is slightly weakened, he does have a major hostage. Moving on to Season 3 or 300 AC, Stannis is now king, and I do think Robb will end up bending the knee to Stannis, and Jaime will be executed with justice served, the Lannisters gone, and Tyrion is a runaway outlaw, and we'll have Brienne escorting him to King's Landing, and Brienne won't be taking any bribes from Tyrion like Bronn did, and Tywin won't know of Tyrion's escape and will have no word of him since he's in King's Landing, and he'll probably figure that Robb handed Tyrion over to Stannis, and Stannis is using him as a political bargaining tool, and so he'll attack Stannis in the field of battle by trying to lure him out in the open. Now, Stannis will of course strip the Lannisters of Castle Rock while making Davos Lord, but I think that Robb will probably end up going home in a little bit, but you'll see that until later. But I want to make this a little different from my Battle of Blackwater Bay. What if? So I'm gonna say this now. I think when all the Lannisters are gone with Tywin, then Robb Stark will go back home with Sansa. Moving over to Stannis at the Battle of the Gold Rope between Stannis and Tywin, it'll be a defeat for Tywin and a victory for Stannis. Next, Tyrion and Brienne will be captured by the Boltons currently stationed at Harrenhal, and there is no chance Roose Bolton will just let him go like he did with Jaime, because the Lannisters don't hold the Iron Throne, and the Tyrells aren't on the side of the Lannisters. And Roose Bolton will very likely send Tyrion over to Stannis and Robb, while keeping Brienne at Harrenhal, where she will probably be killed. The next battle is the Siege of Castle Rock and Lannisport, with Robb and Stannis surrounding the castle on both sides, and Stannis will kill Tyrion if Tywin doesn't bend the knee, and I don't think Tywin will bend the knee, and Tyrion will die, and Tywin will die as well. The combined Baratheon Stark army will take the castle, and all the Lannisters will be dead. And before I end the season, I should mention Talisa, as I do still think that Robb and Talisa will end up being married, as there is only a couple things that can keep that from happening, and this isn't one of them. So here, Talisa is still pregnant and won't die. Having taken Castle Rock, Robb marches to Riverrun, where he reunites with Arya Stark, having left Tyrion and Catelyn at Riverrun when he left for Castle Rock, not going to the Twins. The Hound will So we'll have Arya and we'll take her to Riverrun and ransom her there, and Catelyn will 100% pay the price, and we finally get to see Robb, Sansa, Catelyn, and Arya all reunite. And that ends season 3. Moving on to season 4, 301 AC, Robb Stark will first marry Edmure Tully over to Rosalind Frey and the Freys to get, and Walder Frey will give his army to Robb to take back Moat Catelyn from the Ironborn, and this works, and Robb Stark is on his way back to Winterfell. And I should mention this before someone brings it up. The Freys will have no reason to betray the Starks since Tywin is dead, and all the Lannisters are dead. The Boltons aren't going to betray the Starks, and I can assume around episode 7 that Robb Stark will take back Winterfell and he'll see it burned by Theon. And there at Winterfell, Talisa will give birth to Robb's heir, baby Eddard, a boy, and this is also the perfect time for Robb to leave his family at Winterfell and to go lift the siege of the wall from the wildlings, reuniting with Jon Snow, basically taking Stannis' role. Moving to Stannis, he will manage politics in King's Landing, while Varys and Grand Maester Pycelle will very likely be dead. He will also become aware of the threat of Daenerys Targaryen and he will begin to prepare for the upcoming war. I should mention Littlefinger since I haven't mentioned him yet, but since he's not in King's Landing during the Battle of Blackwater Bay, I do think he will still marry Lysa Arryn, but he won't murder her at the end of the season, and I think by either this season or season 5, Lysa Arryn will give Littlefinger a son. A very chill season with the war over. Moving to season 5 or 302 AC, Robb Stark will make Jon Snow the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, and Robb will execute Mance Rayder. There he is. He's finally going home for the first time since season 1 to live there properly. From there, I assume the Umbers will hand Rickon over to the Starks, and Rickon will reveal that Bran isn't dead, but instead beyond the wall. And Ramsay will hand Theon over, and Theon will 100% be executed for taking Winterfell and betraying Robb. And I do think that Ramsay will be legitimized as a Bolton for his services, and Robb will promise Sansa to Ramsay Bolton. Moving down south, Lysa Arryn, I'm assuming by this point, has given Littlefinger a son, and this gives Littlefinger the all good to kill Lysa Arryn, then Robin Arryn, as he plans to. In the books, he plans to kill Robin Arryn, and he's already killed Lysa Arryn, so that's where I'm getting that from. Stannis will not have to deal with the High Sparrows, and Cersei isn't there to allow them to rise again, but Stannis will move Shireen to Storm's End to rule in his place in order to prevent Daenerys from capturing her when she eventually comes for Dragonstone. Moving back north, Sansa will be married to Ramsay Bolton, and Jon Snow will not be murdered as Robb is in the north. I know I hate that Sansa's being married to Ramsay Bolton, but it just makes sense. The Boltons need a reward for handing over Tyrion, and all the loyal service, and well, I guess this makes a lot of sense. In season 6, not much will happen except for Euron Greyjoy taking the title as King of the Iron Islands from Balon by murdering him. Sansa Stark will not escape Ramsay Bolton, and the Boltons, as Brienne and Podrick aren't there, they are likely dead. And I think at the end of season 6, Sansa will probably become pregnant by the end of the season. I think that Littlefinger will bring his fleet to Daenerys and bring her to Westeros, and Daenerys will take Dragonstone in exchange for Littlefinger being made hand of the Queen. Remember, Varys and Tyrion are dead. In season 7, Sansa will give Ramsay a child, and Bran will get past the wall. Bran will be on his way back to Winterfell. Daenerys will also have allies of the Vale, Tyrells, and Dorne, giving her a very solid army alongside the Unsullied and Dothraki. Stannis has the Stormlands, North, Westerlands, and the Riverlands, and Daenerys will by far have the advantage there, and there will be several battles in season 7. Grey Worm and the Unsullied, I almost said Grey Wind, will take the Storm's End and taking Shireen Baratheon hostage, but they will be forced to evacuate Storm's End when Stannis' fleet surrounds Storm's End and take it back, while also getting Shireen Baratheon back. From there, I think Stannis' fleet will try to sail the Dragonstone to take it, but will be denied entry and defeated by Euron Greyjoy at the Battle of Sharp Point. Stannis' fleet will sail back to King's Landing. From there, Euron Greyjoy will probably declare for Daenerys. Sorry, I am stupid. I think Daenerys will deny a marriage pact, but will certainly try to get Euron on her side. And Robb Stark will also defeat the Vale and the army in the second Battle of the Trident, but one final battle takes place, being Daenerys burning down King's Landing. In the show, Tyrion and Jon convinced her to not burn down the city in season 7. Oh, right, she burned it in season 8. Well, that was pretty pointless. But with Littlefinger as hand, he will want her to do it because it gets Stannis out of the way, which Littlefinger needs. And Daenerys will take the Iron Throne, but Stannis won't be there because Stannis will march beforehand on the Tyrell Dornish army at the Battle of Bitterbridge, and Stannis, I'm predicting, will be defeated. From there, I think Robb Stark will call a truce, wanting to go and defeat the White Walkers in the north, which he will have heard of from Jon and the Night's Watch, maybe the Wildlings, if Hardhome still happens, and Bran, and I think everyone will agree to it. And in Season 8, the whole of Westeros will take on the White Walkers at the wall, since without Viserion, they can't get past the wall, but they still will battle the White Walkers. And since the battle isn't at Winterfell, I should mention, Bran won't die. Same with Beric Dondarrion, or maybe he will, but Bran will not. But I predict that Stannis will die, the Night King and his army will be defeated, and Stannis, I think, will sacrifice himself for the greater good. Remember, he is the king who cared. Robb Stark will be forced to bend the knee with Stannis dead, and to ensure his loyalty, I think Daenerys will keep Arya Stark as hostage. And one more thing, Jon Snow is a member of the Night's Watch, meaning Daenerys will not be mad, and she will be a good, strong queen, which, yay! And to end Season 8 in Game of Thrones in general, there will be some politics. Daenerys will marry Larys Tyrell, as that makes a lot of sense. It's a very strong alliance. And I think that Littlefinger will marry Margaery Tyrell, and as Littlefinger is hand of the Queen and Lord Regent of the Vale, since his son from Lysa will be like a year or so old, and meaning the Lord of the Vale, the Lady of Highgarden, makes a lot of sense in my opinion. This means that Littlefinger will aim to have the support of the Vale and the region. As a side note, if Daenerys will definitely find Gendry and still make him Lord of Storm's End. Maybe in time Arya will be married to Gendry, who knows. That is it for this What If, and if you like this, please like, share, and subscribe. If you want more like this at 100 subscribers, I'll do a 1-hour video on the FNAF Timeline. We are 4 subs off. We are so close. Thank you guys so much. But at 750 likes, I'll do a video on how Mercedes formed an F1 empire. And at 75k views, I'll do a video on the life of Jaime Lannister. But until next time, bye!